Channeling the
One.
energy. Ooh.
Hey, Soul Sisters. Welcome back to the Hey Soul Sister podcast. It has been a minute. It's been a minute because, well, we've been in some different seasons, I guess. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about the different seasons, navigating the different seasons in our lives. And yeah, so we're
The hot
here, we're
girl
back.
summer.
Whether you're in your hot girl summer phase or you're in your rest era summer phase or you're
Yeah.
in an adventure travel summer phase, whatever it is
Oh
for
my
you,
gosh.
you are
Yes.
in the right place this week because we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the different seasons and navigating the different seasons and also feeling into how we still stay grounded and stay connected with ourselves as we're navigating different energy in the different
Mhm.
seasons, you know?
Mhm.
So share, tell us, like, what has this summer season, what has this phase been like for you and how have you been navigating it?
Well, thank you for asking the question. So, I wanna say too, like, the summer has been different from all the summers I've lived, and I think for many of us women, I'm 45, we're 10 years apart, and it's crazy because I feel like we both have similar mindsets, but we're 10 years apart,
I feel
and
like feels
here
like
I
we're
am.
the same age though, right?
I
Like
know,
within, yeah,
like
it's so weird.
exactly. But, I'm at 45 years old and I wanna be 35, so I'm trying to live like I'm 35 or 29, let's just say. My kids, we have a running joke in our house, and my kids are like, "Yeah, mom's 29 again," you know? So, it's always like I'm 29, right? And I don't wanna lose that part of me, and I think every season that comes, I feel like, I'm either drained from hustling, trying to reach the next goal, trying to think of the next business idea, trying to keep everybody afloat in the house, trying to like manage and micromanage and control. And really, I've forgotten what it is like to live as a 29-year-old, right? And I think we have to always remember that even if we age, we have to age knowing that, we can still be a kid again. We can still live. Doesn't matter how old we
Mm.
are, right? And I'm starting to recognize that because after, leaving photography last summer and this being my last summer, knowing that I only have a few weddings this year to, commit to, I've had this summer of like realization that the sun is shining, that I get to sit outside, that I get to tan. I mean, even though I don't need a tan, I get to tan, right? But I love the glow, right? I love the feeling. And I think it's the feeling of being free that creates that space for more to come in. And I mean, you and I have both been in hermit mode for the last year. We have been trying to heal ourselves, find ourselves, understand who we are. And a lot of women go through those seasons, right? It's either you're sitting still or you're doing too much, but there needs to be a period of balance in there. Like, how are you enjoying life? How are you living in the present moment every day? How are you giving gratitude to what you already have instead of worrying about what you need to do later? And all the chores and all the to-do lists, and are you enjoying the sun? Are you getting out? Are you spending time with your kids and being present with them versus just saying, yeah, I spend time with my kids? So what does that look like for you, right? What does that feel like in your life? Like what season are you in? And I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, are we actually living or are we, surviving? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so well said. Are we living or are we just surviving? I love that so much.
Yeah.
I think so, kind of like going back to your point too, but like the whole hermit mode. I've literally feel like I've been in hermit mode for the 5 years that I've been here in Toronto. So like ever since I moved to Toronto, I literally was in hermit mode. And that whole like the last like almost 5 years, we'll say, has has basically consisted of me doing like a lot of that the inner like work, self
Mm.
reflection, a lot of like growing, a lot of learning, a lot of stumbling, a lot of like falling, a lot of like picking myself back up, but also with all of that, kind of starting over from scratch in a brand new city, brand new province with my kids really required me to like expand myself in the sense of I had to like build everything up all over again. And so in that whole experience, I've been in that survival mode. And it's been like,
Mm.
when you're a single parent in a different city that is, away from like your support system, right? Um Yeah, I feel like I've been in like this survival mode for years. And I think it's just been the last, I'm going to say like few months where I've really tapped in and recognized how much I've been like living from a place of constant performing and constant striving, and like you were saying, like going to the next goal, no going to the next goal, and I just this constant like movement and not actually being present, not actually like being and actually living my life. And I think
Mhm.
that my nervous system like was just completely like fried, like burnt out. It was just like I remember just before you went to Barbados, share just before you went
Mhm.
to Barbados, I just remember, or actually it was like right after you went to Barbados, I remember like being in solitude for like a straight week and really like going internally and reflecting. And I just remember like I didn't want to do anything. I had no motivation for anything. I had nothing. Like I was just like I was spent. There was no fuel left in the tank. And I think it was
Burned
like
out.
having that, it was like a bit of a wake up call for me. And it was just like my body's way of telling me enough is enough. Like, you can't keep living this way. It's not aligned anymore. You are
Yeah.
not here to just survive. You're not here to just like continue to strive and go, go, go and perform and achieve and not actually like sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? Because it really wasn't. It was just constant go, go, go. And I think it was like that week where I really had that like wake up call and that shift where I said, okay, let me go internally and let me like focus on my body. Like, let me focus on healing my body. Let me focus on like actually getting okay with resting and not constantly like performing all the time. And that took like probably a good solid few months of me doing multiple things every day. Like I was committed. I was so freaking committed because I was like, I'm done living this way anymore.
Mm.
And it took a lot of me just going inward, working on like regulating my nervous system, allowing emotions come up that I had like suppressed for so long. It also took a lot of me giving up some of the things that weren't really serving me, like, drinking. Like I cut back on the drinking a lot. I also started to
Mhm.
incorporate different vitamins. I started to really like change out the way that I was eating. I was just really trying to do everything I could to support my body in the shift that I was making. And then on top of that, doing the subconscious like reprogramming stuff. Like affirmations, that's a huge thing for me. Visualization, a lot of journaling. Like I committed to journaling every single day, and I think I like did like 60 days of like journaling every day, and then
Mhm.
also like the breath work. So there was like a combination of things that helped me to navigate that shift. And what it did was it like recalibrated my mind, my body, and my soul to get me to a level, a frequency that was more in alignment with who I am and where I'm meant to be,
Mhm.
versus being attached to the old story and the old way of being that was really, really grounded to in that like survival mode. And that was fine. Like that got me through the years that I needed to get through when starting over here in Toronto. But then it was just like, all right, Whitley, like you've done it. Like you're good. You're finally you've got the foundation built, you're safe, you're protected, you've got everything. Now you need to live. Now it's time to like really enjoy everything that you've built and
Mhm.
continue building on that, but doing it from a place of rest, doing it from a place of like my cup being full, doing it from a place where I'm not constantly like in that hustle go go energy, but really being able to relax, to receive,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
trust and flow and just enjoy life and have that. And I think that's really where like that shift began to change. And
Mhm.
now where I'm at, man, like this, I'm like, I used to be such a lone wolf. Like I'm like, that's that's kind of how I've always been as a lone wolf. And I've always craved connection. I've always craved connection. I've always craved like wanting to have community with other people and things, but always would not allow myself. I would allow myself to get close, so close to people, and then I would like retract, right? And it's
Yeah.
like that lack of trust of like putting yourself out there, the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, all the things. But this season, like the one thing that has really shifted, and I have told myself this for the last year, like this has been part of like my visualization, my journaling, all the things, was calling in new aligned friendships, calling in connection, calling in community, and really having like a booming social thriving social life. And this summer has been so crazy because I've like done a complete 180. I've gone from being like really introverted, going inward, being in the house most of the time, not really, hanging out with people, not getting out meeting people. And I'm like the complete opposite. I've been like meeting people every day. I'm out like just socializing all the time. I'm making friends. I'm going out doing things on my own as well at the same time. But it's like I'm building connections. I'm building new friendships. I'm building community right now. And it feels like there have been times in this whole process where I'm like, shit, is this too much? Like, am I doing too much? Am I overextending myself? Like all the excuses coming up in my mind as to like this is too much. Maybe I need to like rein it back a bit, Whitley. Like, and I realize that again, it's just like it's my body, my nervous system's way of being like, oh wait, we're not used to this. Like, you need to be like, you're not safe, you're not safe. But it's like because I'm expanding in an area of my life that has been closed off for such a long time. And I have to just keep reminding myself that I am safe and this is
Mhm.
okay. And you are perfectly okay to thrive and enjoy this new season and allow what comes in because the universe is literally sending me people, experiences, and everything that I've asked for. And what happens sometimes is when we do ask for these things and we start to like receive them, I think sometimes we feel like, well, this is too good to be true, or we're not safe enough to receive this much good or this much joy. And so we try to like, we restrict and we start to like put up the walls and prevent ourselves from actually receiving the blessings and the gifts. But when
Mhm.
you actually allow yourself to just move in the new energy, and trust what's flowing in, so many amazing things start to unfold. And you start
Mhm.
to realize how much you get to play with life and the joy and like experiencing the freedom and the abundance and everything that life actually has in store for you.
That's right. I think you're describing frequency upgrade. Like, it feels like what is happening to both of us is a frequency upgrade. And I describe it as the phases of our life where we go from that like programming, masking type of woman or girl. We've been handed these set of rules of how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to act like this. We're supposed to do it this way. We're supposed to, so those are safer, right? Those are familiar. Those are rules. So for us it's like you're doing no wrong, you can't go to jail for that, so you follow the rules, you'll be okay, right? And I think what happened after that was that awakening phase, which is us retreating and really going in within ourselves and asking ourselves like, who are we, like what are these wounds that I've been dealing with and what is the truth in this situation? Because once we that part is uncomfortable, that awakening part, I don't like going through it. I don't think anybody likes going through it.
Mm,
It's very uncomfortable. It's very challenging. It's very lonely. A lot of women experience solitude because they feel like that phase of their life is, it's like you're hidden away, and so you can't see the light. You can't see the things that are going to come to you. But once you get through that phase and you start to recognize the things that are no longer true and the things that you want for your next phase, that is the phase that you start upgrading, up leveling your frequency, where you start to receive things that you want and that inner child of yours never had. So I'm getting goosebumps because I feel like this is so big. Because when I was a little girl, right, I would always like, I would make friends, but I would get bullied or whatever, and they would always leave. Every friend would leave, right? And so same as you, I want to connect with people now because I feel like that child is healed. She's okay. But this version of me now doesn't feel like she needs to hide anymore. Doesn't feel like she's going to get hurt anymore. She's set herself up to only attract people that see her for who she is because she sees who she is. And when you recognize that person that is truly yourself without all of the crap that happened to you, then you can start to walk with that confidence. You can start to align yourself with the people that see you for who you are, not who you think you are or were. And so those people come into your life and they show you that as well, right? And so you have to go through all of these phases. These phases are necessary for us to see the truth of what it is we deserve, how we want to live in our lives and through the seasons. And this is life. This is life because we all go through these phases of like, finding our purpose, finding our why, finding our soulmates, finding friends and losing friends. So like, why do we go through all of this? I think
mm,
It's to help us recognize what we deserve and what we no longer deserve, what is right for us, what is not right for us. And the sooner we recognize those things, the sooner we can align ourselves with the right people, right experiences, right decision making, right ideas that flow with our frequency. And everything will feel easy once you start taking those little steps. You don't have to worry about things. You don't have to, worry about anyone hurting you because you are aligning with the right people. And if people hurt you, you can just walk away because you know who you are at the end of the day, right? And so I think both of us, we know this about ourselves, is that we love ourselves deeply, and we're recognizing that we wasted a lot of our time in life. Not wasted, I don't want to say wasted, because life is not a waste. It's taught us a lot, but we have been in those positions that we never wanted to be in around people. We've been in situations that we shouldn't have been in, but it was there for a reason. It was there to teach us things. But now what we do is we take that, we recognize those lessons. And when we go into the next, room of people, then we start to see, all right, well, this person doesn't have their best interests. I can walk away. So it's really about all of those lessons that we've taken into these new seasons. And for me, it's like, I never got a chance to truly enjoy life because I was always in that hustle mode. I was always trying to prove myself, always trying to get external validation from people, always trying to also prove to myself that I was good enough, right? But now I know I have everything it takes. I have all the tools in my toolbox. I have learned the lessons. I know the way. I just need to go with it and walk with the fear. And that's all of us, because of those people or experiences. Those are the things that stop us. If you take a moment and reflect, what has stopped you and what are the things you would do if no one was watching? You get to choose, right? And I think we lose that thing where we say, okay, I have the power. Like, that is something that we all have within us to do. We have the power to walk away from relationships. We have the power to walk away from jobs if we want to. We have the power to create jobs if we want to,
Mhm.
or careers. We have the power to do it all. But we don't give ourselves that half the time because we're worrying about what this person thinks, that person thinks, the way to do it, the rules, the social, expectations. And I think this season for women, we are all removing the masks. We're removing those performances.
Yeah. Big time. I feel that. Like, yeah, like saying we're removing the masks. I think right now women are waking up to who they truly are right now. I think women are coming home to themselves right now. And I also feel like women are taking a step back and they're like, I don't want to keep operating in this
Mhm.
same kind of energy of pushing and doing and constantly like the striving we've been talking about, because I think it's so easy to get caught up in the paradigm that we've been basically living in of the constant working, the constant doing. We're just going to label it as that, the constant doing versus being. And I think for women right now, a lot of women are like waking up to who they are and
Mm,
what they desire. And I think that they're starting to recognize that they don't actually have to be doing all the time to have value in the world. They don't have to constantly
mhm,
be doing to be safe in the world. They don't have to constantly be doing in order to feel like they're worthy in the world. And I think it's super powerful. I think it's a huge shift that's happening. And it's really exciting because I think just naturally we as women, we're not meant to be like holding it all together. We're not meant to be like holding all of these responsibilities and these burdens. Like, women are naturally like meant to be in their femininity. They're meant to be in this like
mhm,
space of creativity and nurture like energy and to receive. Like, that's who we are at our core. And I think that the paradigm that we've been living in for far too long now is the opposite. It's almost like women have been given these like masculine type, like um archetypes to have to be. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we're not meant to be
mhm,
like men. Men are built different than women, right? Vice versa. And how a man shows up in the world is going to be so different than how a woman should show up in the world. And I think that for us to really fully be in our power fully, we have to be able to embrace that femininity. We have to be able to embrace who we truly are at our absolute core. Like, we're not meant
yeah,
to be men. We're not meant to be masculine, right? And I think that when women can sit and really own that femininity, and I'm not talking about, going out, getting your nails done and things like that. Like all those things are nice too. But what I'm saying is like trusting, surrendering,
Softness.
softness, being a
Yeah.
creator, allowing that creativity to
Yeah.
flow, to move, to express, to nurture, right? And when we can really stand in that power, I think that that is when a lot of things can begin to shift, not only in our own lives, but in our children's lives, in our families' lives, in our partners' lives, and the lives of the people that we come into contact with, right? It's like it ripples out into the world. I think
Mhm.
like when I think back to like using myself as an example of being in this like masculine like kind of like energy for most of my life, because it's like, oh, I have to like keep up, I have to like prove myself all the things, that it never felt safe to actually be in my feminine, and never felt safe to
Mhm.
receive, and never felt safe to just relax, it never felt safe to actually be who I truly am. And now that I've
Mhm.
like making this huge shift, and like I'm still walking, I'm still learning, I'm still navigating it, but let me tell you, I feel empowered as fuck. I feel
Mhm.
so good and I feel so powerful as a woman, and I think that that ripples out, like that energy goes out, people feel that energy, and I think that you repel the wrong people that aren't for you, but you also attract the people who are for you. Kind of like what you were saying about when you're up leveling and when you're raising that frequency of yourself. I think it comes back to being in alignment with who you truly are. When you are in
Yeah.
alignment with who you truly are, then naturally you have like a signature frequency. Naturally, you're going to draw in the right people and repel the wrong people, right? But you're also going to draw in the right experiences, and everything just starts to flow. So it's like, yes, it's not just about understanding who you are from a personality standpoint, but really understanding who you are from like a soul, like deeper, like wisdom's place. If that even made sense. I don't even know if that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Understanding that you are a woman, you are a goddess, you are a queen, and
Yeah.
owning that.
Yeah,
And
I think there's a balance with feminine and masculine. We have to have masculine side of us too, because that's where our leadership comes in. That's where, things come in that help
you know
us,
what though?
move us.
Actually, I don't think. I'm starting to
You
shift.
are?
I know.
I
I'm
did
like,
not
I
think I would
don't
hear that
need
from you
I don't
ever.
need to I don't need masculine energy to lead. I don't. I can lead
No,
from
not lead others. Lead
my
yourself.
life, myself,
Lead your life.
everything.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think I know what you're saying, like with the masculine energy, because there's some things, because like I think with like the feminine, it's a lot of like the energy that you're putting
Letting
out, and
go.
like the
Mhm.
receptive and like receive and all that stuff. But with a masculine, it's like doing, it's more action, other things to it too. But like, yeah, I totally get what you mean. It's like you can't sit back and just receive all the time, right? You have to actually like do stuff, like you and I, like the podcast. Like we can't just like
Mm.
feel our way into it, putting an episode out there. We have to
I
get
mean,
on
we
and we got
could.
to
I
have an
mean,
episode.
it's possible, right? Like, I think about people that are like big, successful entrepreneurs, okay?
Right.
And they've made millions and billions of dollars. They have a masculine side, right?
Hmm.
But I think they have a big feminine side too. Why? Because those people trust in the process. They
Hmm.
trust in their passion. They trust in their message. They trust in their value. They trust in themselves. They have the confidence to show up. And that's feminine to me, like being who you are, right? And the
Right.
masculine side of it feels like a power. Like I'm taking charge.
Hmm.
I'm choosing to do it like this, but I trust my feminine side more. And maybe it's like not masculine in a sense of like, I got to protect myself all the time from these people that are going to step around my boundaries. And sure, that happens, right? And you can still do that. But I feel like it's a way of like not looking at the past that is going to dictate how people treat you. It's
Mm.
choosing to say, I'm enough as I am. I don't need to overreact. I don't need to put up my walls. I can still come from a place of masculinity, but in with my feminine, right? So that's what I mean by like a balance of feminine and masculine, because I don't want to be all feminine where people walk all over me and I'm just, a puddle. I want to have power as well. And I want to make choices from that masculine side of me, but I want my feminine to be the charge. Does that make
So,
sense?
yes, and I'm gonna challenge you on that. And not to challenge you, but to maybe give you like a shift in perspective because there was a time where I looked at feminine energy as like being almost not lazy, but very like not doing a whole lot kind of thing, right? And but now when I look at that, I'm like, no, that I had it all wrong. I was like, that was like me kind of like dipping my toes into like allowing myself to be feminine and in my feminine energy. But I think that now I know that you can be feminine and you can be so fucking powerful and get shit done and not allow people to walk all over you, have boundaries in place, all the things, but still be in your feminine fucking
Mhm.
energy
Mhm.
fully. That's what I've learned. And I'm like, and I'm starting to embrace that more and more. I'm like, huh, I actually have more power when I'm in my feminine energy versus when
Mm.
I'm in my masculine energy. When I'm in my masculine energy, I'm repelling shit big time. Like I'm sure I can put up boundaries, I can get stuff done, I can do all the things, but I'm
You're right.
operating at a small capacity of what I could really be operating at. And what I'm saying is I was born a female, I was born a woman, and why not step into the fullest potential of myself as that gender that I've chosen to be born
Mm.
into this world in this lifetime. And I'm learning
Yeah.
that the more I embrace that, the more powerful I actually am.
Yeah. And I guess like there's no like dictionary really on like feminine and masculine energy. So I feel like it's like, how do we know the difference? Like a guy could have, say, my husband, he has masculine energy, but he has feminine energy too. Men are sensitive, they have that feminine energy as well. And so being a woman, I think it's okay to have both, but I think it's using it in a way that is it's not protecting, it's not like um defensive. It's coming from a place of love, but
Yeah.
in a place of power and leadership. And how am I going to move through like this situation right now with my masculine energy and my feminine energy? So I honestly feel like it's both. I feel like it's like a combination because I don't think that I could just do everything in feminine energy. I really don't. And the reason why is because there's certain situations in our lives that they test us, right? And we have to think quick on the spot. We have to make choices on the spot. We have to make logical decisions. And sometimes it can't come from a place of being soft and like, I'm just going to go with the flow. Sometimes you have to step up, but I think it's like using both. It's like the way you show up with your masculine, I think
Mm.
truly matters.
It's
It's
the
not,
way. Yes,
yeah, it's
absolutely.
the
It's the
way.
way. As long as
Yeah.
that way is aligned with you're being true to yourself, right? As long as you're
Hmm.
being true to yourself, like, yeah, I agree with you. We still are using there's a balance of both. But what I'm saying is
Hmm.
you don't have to use masculine energy to protect yourself, to get things done, and to
No.
think that you have to like use that masculine energy in order to navigate life because I'm realizing actually I don't. And the other part to that is I found that the more that I'm actually in my feminine energy, more stuff comes to me.
Yeah.
More
Because you
stuff is
let
coming to
go,
me.
right?
Yeah, so it's yeah, but I agree with you. Yes, you use both because like you said, if you're taking action on something, yeah, it's you're using like that masculine energy, that doer, that action oriented stuff, right? So, yeah, it's definitely I feel like we could do a whole topic.
Okay. So I had while you were talking, I did ask ChatGPT what is the difference between masculine and feminine energy because I really want to know like, okay, how does ChatGPT interpret these two?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I just want to break it down really quickly. So masculine energy is doing, directional, and structured. So this is often with purpose and direction, logic and reason, action oriented, discipline and stability, protection and provision, and assertiveness, right?
Yeah.
And when it's imbalanced with your masculine energy is imbalanced, it looks like control issues, overworking and burnout, emotional suppression, aggression, or coldness. So that's why I mean, like, when
Mm.
you're using it as a defense mechanism all the time, that can turn into burnout and control issues, right?
Ooh, this is
But it
good.
is useful for direction and goal oriented stuff, right? Like logical, like planning and stuff like that. And then the feminine energy is about your intuition, your emotion, your creativity and expression, receptivity, flow and flexibility, connection, compassion, playfulness and pleasure. And when this
Mm.
is imbalanced, then you lose direction, lack of direction, over dependence, emotional chaos, and people pleasing tendencies, right?
Mm.
So it's like I feel like we need both. We need
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really how we use them and how these can benefit us or how they can like set us back in a way. So if
Mm.
they're not balanced, they're going to cause this kind of like, either burnout
Imbalance.
or over pleasing people or whatever, right? So it's like, where do we figure out where to balance that? I think it's in the day to day. I think it depends on the situation. I think if it's like I'm in a circumstance and someone's like really attacking me, how am I going
Mhm.
to use both of those in that situation, right? So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
I love that ChatGPT's breakdown. That
Yeah, I
was, like,
love her.
such a perfect breakdown of both. Yeah, 'cause it's
Yeah.
like, what is masculine and feminine energy? That was, like, perfect depiction of it. And also the flip side of, like, the imbalance part too, right? Because you
Yeah.
can, like, if it's not used, and again, I think that's where I'm, like, trying to come from is, like, it's how you direct that energy. If
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
being directed from a place of alignment and balance,
Mhm.
then there's nothing wrong with that. But I think what I'm trying to get at, if it's being misdirected,
Mhm.
then it's not serving you.
Yeah, and I think you've gone through issues like that, like in your life too, where it's like you've seen the burnout, you've seen the control aspect of things. So you don't want to be all in your masculine. You don't want to be imbalanced with your masculine, right?
Yeah.
And so I think as women, we're learning that through our seasons. It's like,
Mm.
when do we be feminine? When do we be masculine? How do we balance the two in the season, right?
Yeah,
And so, I
yeah.
mean, that's a whole other podcast about masculine and feminine. We just went on a rant. But hey, if you're on this
That's what
podcast,
we do.
everything is, yeah, we go off topic sometimes, but that's okay, right? I think this is the direction that a lot of women are going in now, is like more towards the feminine, but understanding that it's okay to be in your masculine, but it's how you use it. It's
Mhm.
taking the triggers that, you know, have you thought were protecting you, those things that you thought were protecting you, and no longer using those, don't no longer feeling like you need to be protected, that you can just have compassion. You can
Mm.
have love, you can have empathy, but you can still stand in your power, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
truth. Yeah.
exactly. Yes!
Amen. That was great. That was a good conversation. I think we should wrap this one up though,
Yeah.
but that was a great conversation. And
And
so I hope
if
that
it
everybody here is having a season of, playfulness and
yeah,
stepping into your feminine
what
and
season are you in right now? That's what I
yeah,
wanted
what
to ask.
season?
What season are you in
Yeah.
right now? And
Yeah. Well, we're in
also
summer. I don't know about you, but I'm dreading the fall and the winter because I
girl,
don't
don't
like
even
cold.
start. I saw it I woke up today and I was like, "August 1st, we need
We
to
have
move.
like a few more
We need to
weeks.
move away."
Yeah.
Like, can we just figure
Yeah.
out, like, when our next retreat is, and let's just host a series of retreats for the entire winter? Because I don't wanna stay in Canada
Mhm.
all
Okay, let us
winter.
know if you wanna go on a retreat with us, ladies. Let
Yes.
us know. Do you wanna go on a retreat? If we host another one somewhere like, say, I don't know, Costa Rica or
Yeah.
somewhere south or Portugal, where would you like to go? Hit us up.
Yeah.
Let us know, because we about to plan another one.
Yes. Let's do it. Alright,
Amen.
soul sisters, we out. Love you. See you next week.
Bye.